Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Active brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I'm Dustin. Today we're going to be looking at SoFi. What a phenomenal day SoFi had. It's up 7.16%. So I know I got my SoFi boys here. I know SoFi is such a popular stock on Twitter. It's such a popular stock in the overall market. It's such a popular stock in just general like FinViz. The reason why is because it speaks to all of us. So many people have had student loans or still have student loans, and it's one of those things that you really can just lean on from the idea that conceptually everyone can understand it. But if we look at SoFi, it's had a hell of a move over the past week and especially over the past month. Now, if you've not watched my videos before, one of my favorite things to do is pay attention to the 1 day, 5 day, 15 day, 1 month, and 3 month returns. And what I love to see is when they're all positive at the same time. The second thing that I love to see is when I'm getting higher highs and higher lows inside of my range. One of the things that I always call out, so this, what I'm about to show you here is my overall indicator, which is the smaller version of this larger model. The thing that I love to see is when I'm getting higher highs in the range. I love when the price is above its trade level, and I love when I'm getting higher highs in the range. That is huge to me. Now, if we look at the overall like big model here, what we're going to notice is yesterday was a great day to make a purchase inside SoFi. I don't know what the catalyst was. I don't really look at the fundamentals of an individual stock. I look at the way that it trades. I use purely math to be able to determine if I want to buy, sell, or stay out. Now, when I'm looking at SoFi, one of the things that I like here is that we dipped right below our 5 day moving average as of yesterday. Right when we went to 1047, the 5 day moving average is 1080. We bounced right back up above it to $11.22. I like that yesterday had a big volume move. The reason why is because I can see that it went all the way down and got bought back up. It didn't close as high as it could have, but it was definitely a very good move to see. Now, if we're looking, the only concern that I'd say I probably have here is that I think volatility, where is volatility here? Volatility is starting to break back out. Yeah, volatility is definitely starting to break back out. It's really low though. Volatility is starting to break back out, so it's starting to rise, and I bet correlation is starting to go negative. Now, the wonderful thing is that you see is that we are positive on that 1 day, 5 day, 15 day, 1 month, 3 month, and even 6 month rolling return. Now, the concern, if I was to say anything is the most concerning thing, is that if I look at where we are relative to the 23-day moving average, we are quite a ways up there. Now, we're closer than we were before in terms of it being three standard deviations away, but we are still way up there because this is the price relative to where the 23-day moving average is. You would want to buy it when it's closer to zero. Like when it's near that level, that's way more important. Right now, we bounced all the way down to 108. We're all the way back up to $1.70. A little bit of a concern, just that it's probably a little overstretched. Probably just consolidate for a little bit in this area. Probably can see volatility and some chop. Now, if we look at the trading signals, we are go long, go long, go long in the short term, intermediate, and longer term as well. And the trend, we are bullish in the short term, intermediate, and longer term. I will be very curious to see if we get bearishness for the next 2 days. So the way that I look on this is that I need to see two of one, either bullishness or bearishness to consider to be a full trend change. So like this is the most short term. It'll change all the time. But if you notice, like on the longer term, this thing's been bullish for a long time. Like this would have been the day that I would have confirmed that it's gone bullish from a bearish flip. It flipped on in July. At $7.53, that thing went bullish and it has not looked back. You've seen no bearishness come into SoFi ever since then. Now, if we look at the overall rolling sentiment, the thing that I'd say again as just a slight concern, these aren't concerns because I think that the stock is going to fall. It's concerns because I think that the stock has gotten so much support recently that the only people in it are bullish people. Which means you probably want to start being a little bearish or taking a little off the table. Just because when I look, like this thing has been redlining in terms of its bullish support since the middle of September on both the 5 day, the 10 day, and the 2 day average. That's crazy to me. And if you've ever looked at my videos before, this indicator here always has trouble anytime that it gets above 60% or anytime it gets below 40%. And the reason why is because bullishness and bearishness likes to be in a nice yin and yang. You can't get 100% bullish, you can't get 100% bearish. The reasons why is because it's a market. If everybody wanted to sell, it goes to zero. If everybody wants to buy, you get GameStop and you get something that goes up to $420.69, but with no fundamentals behind it. Now, if we're going to go look at the overall trading signals, again, the thing that I like back here is that we got some buy signals back in August and September. We got some big buying signals back here, but we don't have any of that as of recently. In the past 2 weeks, we don't see any buy signals or bear signals. We just see chop. So what I expect is that it's just going to stay in the same range and kind of chop back and forth. Now, if we look at the overall chart here, again, it's been remarkable to see what SoFi has done. I have nothing but good things to say about the bulls in the long term. When I think about the bears in the short term, you're probably going to be able to come back and probably touch that like $9. The reason why is because you need to just clear out some people who are just there's people who are like probably like buying HELOC. They're probably getting HELOC in their houses, buying Lambos. They're already picking up the colors of the interiors, the Lamborghinis, the Maseratis that they think they're going to get by summer of 2025. It's not going to happen because it's just not the way that markets work. Markets need to ebb and flow. And you can see here, like this thing got above 60, this thing got to 69.7 on the 16th of October, and the price wasn't even as high as you'd think, right? Like this was the day that it got to bullishness, and then it had a nice down day. You're going to need to see a little bit of that movement back into like kind of the Zen zone where it's going to be 50-50 on bullishness and bearishness for you to have any opportunity to advance significantly higher. I do like that we've seen that the volume has been incredibly high in SoFi as this move has come in, but that volatility is what I was just talking about. The volatility of what's been going on and the correlation, which is down here in blue. This is remarkable to see inside of SoFi. The reason why is because the volatility isn't generally that high. It doesn't usually go over much of two. This thing is up near six, like it's or five, 4.9. I mean, look at the volatility that we've seen, even on the weekly charts. Like back in 2022, this thing hit nine, and I'm sure that was because it's incredibly bearish. We are seeing a massive breakout in volatility inside of SoFi, and we're seeing an incredible correlation to it. But this is the first day that we're seeing the correlation fall below that moving average here. It's probably going to start to roll over, and I assume honestly that we're going to get a rollover in volatility. But the nice thing is that when you get two negatives, that actually makes a slight positive. When volatility rolls over and correlation rolls over, generally the price will go sideways to up. It won't go up very much, but it'll go sideways to up. What I would expect, the top of the range is going to start coming down, the bottom of the range is going to start coming up, and you're really going to start to see that SoFi is going to consolidate. It's going to look more like this, like how it did in the summer, how it did in May, where it's going sideways. You're going to get a narrower range. You can see how the range came even from being here. But if we're thinking longer term, like look at this, you had a consolidation range for most of 2022, most of 2023. You're starting to get a breakout in 2024, but we are above the weekly range, which is at $10.66. I imagine we're going to come back in, but I do think that this is going to be longer term, very, very bullish. So I do think that SoFi has a very good like outlook ahead of it, but you just have to be really cautious as you start to think about the shorter term, which is going to be the next like month or two. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, subscribe to the New High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks to your inbox every single Sunday. Stocks breaking out to all-time highs, stocks breaking out to one-year highs, stocks between $5 and $20 that are breaking out. It's a great list to get your trading week started. I'll talk to you soon.